What up, my freaks? Ruinous Insight here with part 5 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Taurox the Brass Bull campaign. So as we saw last time, plenty of battles were had pretty much all over the map now, as Khazrak, Morgr, and Taurox all got to play. We completed the Ruinous Stave, or the Stave of Ruinous Corruption quest for Morgr, which was pretty nice against those self-healing Wood Elves. Khazrak got to bully the Emperor Karl Franz, preventing him from recovering his army, and then culminating in the battle against the Wa of Grom the Paunch outside of Montfort. A little bit odd that aren't Was supposed to disperse if the Lord leading the Wa suffers a defeat? Because, I mean, the very concept of a Wa is to get behind a war boss, Lanesha Giggle, but it's odd that it doesn't just disappear once the army suffers a loss. But I suppose if we have to then destroy this again, that would probably mean more post-battle loot and stuff for us, so I guess Taurox won't be the one complaining. Taurox lets his axes do the complaining, and generally speaking, anyway, before we get started, we've managed to reach the 5th episode, all hour long, all unto it, and this is where we can lower the threshold a little bit to continue the streak. Let's see if we can keep the streak going as long or longer compared to the Grimgor campaign. But anyway, now we'll do 300 likes and 50 comments, and the next episode will be an hour long as well, so keep that in mind if you're into that sort of thing. Now, the main thing that we achieved last episode was this. We're now at 1200, or we've passed 1200 dread, so that means Malagor is available. Thing we gotta check before we get him on the field, though, we currently don't have the capacity for an extra lord, so I guess we just see if he's alive or dead, and just hope that he's alive. Game Lord. What does he do? And movement range plus 100% when using the beast path, so he can fly a little bit further over the canopy, I guess. Enemy leadership reduction for enemy armies in province might be a way to stack that via various means. And enemy casualty replenishment reduction in enemy armies in okay, we don't care about that at all. Game Lord. Alrighty. Slaughterhorn Tribe and Harbinger of Disaster confederated, and he might be dead. Wait. And I think I actually did that last time with... no, he is alive. Alright, fantastic. What does he have in his army? Ooh, he's got a Gorbel. Karak Stoneheart here. Nice. Cloven Herald. His scent is strong even amongst his herd. Horde growth plus 2 for all units in army. Nice, and 2 in 1 gets Vile Tide on him. Nice. Within Karak, War 2 souls. One a brutish minotaur, the other a crafty beret shaman who once sought to dominate him. I like the armor. Armor is quite nice indeed. Alright. Alright, we'll check those guys out. What did the AI do to poor Malagor's spells? Alright, so it maxed out Flock of Doom, which is the right thing to do. It didn't get Gargantuan Hooves, because it's stupid. And it maxed out the Penumbral Pendulum. Good spell. Not so sure it's a very good spell for Malagor's army in particular, due to the piles of harpies he will inevitably have. Can he build harpies? No, he cannot. Oh, AI, what did you do? Why would you do this? Alright, so clearly we're going to need to build the den building. We can move immediately, but with the limited amount of units we have, we probably wouldn't be able to take Reyes here. And on top of that, it's fairly well defended. And on top of that, the ritual at Lequeno is already completed, meaning we'd have to delete it to get another ritual going. Although it's in a pretty good position. Damn, why'd you complete the ritual, AI? It's a very decent location for Herdstone, though. Guess we could move this way. I mean, would Reyes be that different of a position anyway? I think it would just not get Malena and maybe not Montenas, but it would probably get Ciernos instead. I would imagine. We'll see. For now, we have other things to do, but not to worry, we'll try to get Malagor to get his debut ASAP. Alright, and let's get going. You know what? You guys have been giving me millions upon millions of Minotaur names, and let's name a few of the Minotaurs at least. I don't know what other units are going to stay in the current armies yet, so a little bit longer on those names, except possibly Malagor's Chaos Bomb. Let's name a few of those. In fact, you know what? I never name anything myself, so I'm going to name you myself. Alright, you're gonna be the Moo Man group. There we go. Look, Ma, I'm fitting in. I can name units too. Alright, and let's do the other two from the list. You can be the other menaces, and you can be... let's see how there's so many to choose from. Maybe I'll save the best ones, or the ones that I like the best for the, or the more loreful ones for the Bulgors to act as Taurox's personal guard. There's a couple with a brass theme that works nicely for him. Maybe something along those lines. How about the Marauders for you? There we go, and obviously we're gonna have just an obnoxious amount of Minotaurs in this army, so we'll have plenty more. Anyway, last time we saved the peasants of Montfort from utter destruction, and, well, now we're going to immediately declare war on them. They are... Oh, no, we have Pestilence undiscovered, so we can't ask them to do this. And anyway, they probably wouldn't have paid us much anyway. Alright, Taurox, in you go, buddy. Decisive victory, low casualties. I think we can auto-resolve this, right? Also, do we need to take a look at these things again? So we got Gift of Chaos on the Moo Man group. What do you have? You have the armor-piercing weapon damage plus 5 on you. I mean, I guess we could put the armor on some of the Ungors if we really wanted to. And again, I suppose the armor-piercing weapon damage is fairly decent on them as well. Frankly, maybe it's fine. It's fine. It's fine as it is. Just go. Just go. Auto-resolve that and... Oh, what is this? I just named you. Okay, I guess because this unit was damaged, the auto-resolve decided to damage it even further, but not damage the other two. Well... Oh well, what can you do? Luton Raise, and I wonder if we could reach you at the same time. Alright, let me see if I can do this quickly. Luton Raise, and stop. Alright. Can you reach this guy? No, yes, you can. Oh, beautiful. Oh, actually, we probably could have reached... Yeah, we still got 11% movement. We can reach him from quite a while. Well, thank you for that. We got a free Jagged Dagger for our trouble, which is an arcane item, but the arcane items we currently have are better. Let's also level you up while we're here. I guess we could get Juggernaut, although we got the best part of this, and Taurox is already so strong, I wouldn't say it's crazy necessary. I'm almost inclined to say maybe we just go through freakish mutations in order to try to access creatures of bestial butchers, and get the additional buffs for the various Minotaurs, as well as apocalyptic visions, and I think I've just convinced myself. Unless... we go for Blessed by Evil first, just like Kazrak has. I mean, I do like the income from raising settlements and raiding here, but... Ooh, Fetid Gallopod also gives us the constant casualty replenishment, which is nice. I'm not gonna pretend it's not nice. What else do we have here? I just want to take a quick look at the blue tree. The other part of this isn't really worth our time, but the post-battle chance of stealing items and the income from post-battle loot. We probably wouldn't be able to max our post-battle loot or get it nearly as high as Grimgor does, because there have been battles where he's gotten like 20k out of a battle. I doubt that that's possible for Beastmen, since we have a lot of buffs for raiding and not a lot of buffs for post-battle loot. But I do think we should have space for this in terms of points left over for Taurox, because he's not a caster. Do we risk it, though? Maybe not right now. All right, I'll do a count later, but I'll count between the episodes, so I know it's possible. Let's say. Anyway, Bravener, let's give you an buff as well. You have evasion. We could go through Traderkin. Just get you evasion. I always do pop you into battle constantly, so why not? And Taurox, so you I guess have to stay in raiding. Ooh, wait, do we have Rampage yet? No, we do not. Replenish Taurox's movement range. How close are we? Could be one battle, could be two battles, could be three battles. There's no way to tell, at least. Depending on how many rampage marks we get for this. Let's find out. Alright, what do we have here? Close victory, medium casualties, and all of our Ungors will die. Really, to this? Alright, we're gonna fight this one manually just real quick, because I don't think that this battle is really worth our time. It's just that the auto-resolve is being wacky, as it tends to be. Will Vanguard deploy, destroy, Defishy Tittlemunch's army? Fantastic name, by the way. This army should fall quite quickly. Granted, the wall will arrive on the field pretty much immediately, but nonetheless. Alrighty. And damn, they've deployed relatively far away. But what can you do? Alright, Mooman group, I guess you're gonna be bringing up the rear since the game decided to hurt you. For Ruinous having the temerity to name something. And let's get you guys right here. You guys can blob up, I guess. It's not like the enemy will have damaging spells anyway. At least I sincerely doubt it. Like so, maybe even like so. Alright, group, let's say 3. Bravener, you know what, Bravener, you can be part of this. Quickly group 2. Taurox, you're gonna be group 1, you're just gonna charge forward by yourself. You don't care, you take what you want. Razor Gores and... oh, right, the Razor Gores can't Vanguard deploy. Alrighty, that's fine. Razor Gores and our little adorable Pestilence Doggos. Group 4, nope, group 3, group 4, and I believe we're good to go. Start battle, Taurox, and begin the charge. You guys group up and lock yourselves. Group 3 out here, group 4 out here, speed it up to max. We gotta avoid the unnecessary damage after all. And ooh, that's a big old blob of enemies together. Go back to regular speed, Taurox keep on charging. Maybe wait until the enemy groups up a little bit more. And then we'll pop a nice Devolve and a nice Bray Scream and a Vile Tide and whatever else we please and can. Alright, Taurox is in, surround him a little bit, and then we'll pop that Bloodbeast. Actually, you know what, pop it now before the other units arrive. Pop that Filth Mace. And I guess you can use Brass Body and, well, use your healing to heal you up now. Alrighty, time for a Devolve, unless I'm mistaken. Let's reduce the accuracy of these guys. Our other units are moving in. Double cast the Devolve to get that physical resistance down, and, ooh, hello. Someone's about to be obliterated. Alright, you two. 2 by 2, you guys charge this, you guys charge that, and I guess we can watch the rest, as I don't imagine the enemy is going to have a very good time here. You know what, let's just back off our Bray Shaman, though. And we want to pop a Vile Tide in here, maybe? Maybe. Let's pop a Vile Tide right... nah, they're already being overrun. Taurox, go forward. Alright. It's just a few Gobos and Trolls. Well, granted, the Trolls can do some damage. Ooh, nice swing from the Grey Shaman there. And, oh, he's getting Spirit Leeched. You gotta be careful about that. Alrighty, enemy range units getting absolutely destroyed in the background. We don't really need to chase them down, as they should just move off the field. Taurox, I believe we see that enemy River Troll Hag, so we can give her a nice charge. Alright, and the battle should be nearly ours. Alright, I see Orc Boys and Trolls are running, and... okay, gotta be careful about Mr. Brabener. He is quite damaged after all. Do we have another Devolve up and running? No, we don't. Taurox has found the enemy Lord, though. And, ooh, the enemy Lord is trapped by all those hounds and Razor Gores. Once again, a very deadly combination of units, especially in the early game, and that's why I'm building it in the... in whatever armies we can fit it, and Taurox just runs away, or maybe not runs away, quite right, but abandons the fight, I guess, once the enemy Lord has decided to rout. You guys move over here. Everybody else is fine. Chase down those Trolls. Brabener, stay away, since you're damaged. And I believe the battle's ours. Alright, I don't believe we need to chase the enemy down, because this was the remnant of the destroyed armies from last episode, right? I mean, a turn has not passed, meaning we should completely destroy this army, and it didn't try to run from us, right? I'm just gonna make sure a couple extra units are destroyed just in case, because I don't trust it. I'm 99.9% sure. It is the same turn, but I could have somehow lost sight of it and gotten confused. I think that's good enough. Alright, it's good, it's fine, it's fine. I'm being overly cautious here. Alright, a little bit of damage. It looks like our Bray Shaman Brabener got the most hurt, which is a bit of a shame for him, but oh well. Oh well, now, ooh, let's find out if this will give us a rampage back, because that would be just swell. Or not rampage, the speed re-up thing. Movement range, that's the one. And let's see, we got 1,300 money from this. Our Bestial Rage is in fact maxed out, so I think we'll take the money, especially since we did just confederate meaning we need to get as much money as possible to make good use of that horde building construction cost reduction. That's a lot of words. And yeah, fine. I would like to heal up, but you know what? We also have the casualty replenishment buff up right now, so we can make good use of that. Let us sacrifice those captives. At cost of bestial rage. Down you go, sir. Then... yes, that got us the rampage. Oh, everything's coming up, Taurox. First of all, I think we will take the Unyielding Onslaught for the ward save rather than the Blood Greed. Mostly because our Minotaurs already have it, and while I do like the immunity to psychology on our base Ungor units, their charge isn't really the issue. And while they're... oh, well actually, wait. A moment. If we start attacking the Barrow Legion, then immunity to psychology might actually come in quite handy, as none of these units would be routing. The Razor Gore has already caused fear, so they're going to ignore that anyway, but the Hounds of Pestilence do not, so they could use immunity to psychology. Alright, fine, we'll go immunity to psychology then. As in for the Blood Greed. Alright, fine. Blood Greed it is. For the rest of the army, like so. Then, Taurox, you're gonna move out here. Alright, I got an idea about how we're gonna do this. Then, you're going to replenish movement range. We're gonna head you to Helmgart, which is defended by some dwarfs. And, oh, Slau's nearby. Oh, if we can go right past Helmgart, we could go right here, heal up to full outside of Aelhart, while building the Minotaur building, which we still need to build. And then... right afterwards, leap over to Hellspire, take out Hellspire, perform the ritual, then move down southward to Castle Drakenfels, set up a new Herdstone there, and do some fighting against the dead. Just for fun, and just because we can, and because we pieced out with these orcs, and we can't declare war on them for another 7 turns, so we're gonna have to give that a little bit of time. Alright, that makes sense to me as a plan, so replenish Taurox's movement like so. We're down to 4 momentum. We don't want to lose that. We are going to go into... it's gonna take a lot of our movement. Nonetheless, I guess we're going to pop Ruination stats. I imagine we won't be able to auto-resolve this, because just like this battle, it'll probably kill off our Ungors. We could also just revive them if we really wanted to, though. I mean, is this worth our time, I guess is the question. And my answer tends to be no, at least it doesn't look it. I guess it really depends on how badly all the other units will be hurt. I mean, Taurox and the other units could just break through and rip everything apart. We could do another little battle. You know what? Let's sit here for a second. Hey, another potion of toughness, though. That's a nice pickup. And access the reward panel of rage. Yeah, we already had that. You, sir, lose that ruby ring of garbage and get that. Where are we? Oh, I got another Scepter of Stability as well. Get that Potion of Toughness, then we'll take out the 2 Scepters of Stability and then fuse them into... and Trickster Shard. Okay, well, I guess some of the shamans can have that. We're going to take Gruden in a second. In fact, we're going to take it right now. Pop yourself into Ruination stance. Like so. What do we have in terms of defenses here? Alright, this one might be worth fighting. I'm wondering whether it would be this or Taurox's fight. As to being worth it, you can have that Bestigor herd. And where's the other banner? Oh, it's on Kaz. All right. Let's see what the other lords are doing, and then we'll figure out which battle we fight, which battle we auto-resolve. As to which battle will look better. Morgar, I would like you to go into encamp stance, and you can probably get a few of your units back as you head over to Allenhof. Probably delete this Chaos spawn, and then merge it with another unit, like so. And then build you back up, and then we have quite a bit more in the way of recovery ability. Meaning we can, for example, get rid of you 3, and rebuild you all at full HP. This makes sense. Yes, this makes sense. Yeah, I know, they have a little veterancy, but it's fine. We'll get them back as needed. Alright, and we got 2 more spaces, meaning I guess we can merge you 2, get an Ungor with an axe, and just replace you. Frankly, I don't care for the Tuskor chariots in this army. Might give them to Kazrak, or we might just delete them later, but I guess we'll keep them for now. And delete you as well. And get another spear Ungor. There we go, very nice. And yeah, you know what, I think we can do the same thing with Taurox. And just get all these Ungors back. They're just Ungors. Oh, will the Destroyers of the Drakewall die too? Yeah, they will. Wait, what if we do this? They still die. What if we do this? Damn it. What if we... okay, no, that didn't work out. Back to you. And I guess back to you, since you're all about to be dead. I don't really need the Destroyers of the Drakewall in this army. I do like the poison that they provide, though. You know what? I'm gonna manually fight this super quick again. But we'll do a cinematic for Kazrak's fight, because he has, frankly, greater stuff threatening him, and his army is not nearly as powerful as Taurox's is. Plus, I don't know how many units we'll be able to recover immediately with Taurox, and I really don't want to lose the regiment of renown. Yeah, it's just an Ungor unit. But hey, poison is quite valuable, especially in the main line. Alright, anyway, everybody back here. And then we're gonna just charge directly towards that gate, you guys and you guys. We're gonna keep the Mooman group back, I think, because they're still damaged from last time. You, sir. I mean, you are going to be needed. Try not to die. You're all gonna be group 1. We will follow in with you guys as needed, or maybe not. And then the Razor Gores. You know, let's say 2 Razor Gore units and 2 Warhound units. All of you back, and then the other 2 can be back here. And they can reinforce as needed. I'm just wary of the too many units being around the gate not fitting, and thus still getting attacked by stuff. Anyway, start battle. Away we go, away we go. Charge, charge, charge. Bravener, you try to dodge any shots. Yeah, it's fine if the crossbows hit the bulls. That's not fine if they hit you because you're damaged, so you're gonna do the zigzag dance. And dodge everything. Ooh, Taurox is starting to take damage. But he's got that potion of toughness, so he'll be fine. Alright, head on in. Alright, here comes the blob. I really could use that shatter stone ability our armies will get later, but we'll have to wait. Alright, gate is at 14k, and it will go down quickly by the looks of this mob. Absolutely wrecking face here. Sorry, dwarfs. I mean, this is only shoddy Yumi construction. Alright, let's get the second group in. Alright, just gotta make sure Bravener doesn't get himself killed, but everybody else can fight. And are these... oh, they're quarrelers, not crossbows. Well, close enough. You, sir. Reduce their accuracy. Frankly, I probably could have done that earlier, but whatever, too late. Alright, and then try not to die. Oh, there are towers out here. That's concerning. Did I just get you killed? Bravener, run. You're not immortal. Alright, run off the map, run off the map. Don't cast anything. Just go. Just go. And the towers are, I take it, focusing him? Yeah, I just saw one tower hit him. The other one's aiming for him as well. And in SFO, these things are a lot more homing than they are before, so we're gonna have to watch them for a little bit. What you get when you don't pay attention. Alright, Bravener, keep on running, bud. Fortunately, you can run inside the city. Such as it is. Alright, doggos, come on in. And same with you all. You're gonna be hurt, but you'll be okay. Bravener, withdraw. Alright, good. He'll be fine. And you can be group 5, so I don't accidentally send you back in. Taurox, move back. Ooh, hello. Blasting charges. Alright, we're gonna have to move through. Bloodbeast. You know what? Activate. There we go. Knock them away, and, well... can't stop those blasting charges now, but what we can do is charge on past and move on in. Alright, and oh, we got more blasting charges. Actually, I'm not sure that those are going to hurt us more than they're going to hurt the enemy. We'll just back off the 2 units of Hounds of Pestilence, and otherwise let the enemy do that. Alright, charge on in. Taurox is a little bit trapped, but he can pop the mason stuff, and yeah, those dwarfs are in trouble, let's say. Oh, I do want you 2 backing out, though. But you don't get killed. Make you group 4. Group 2, charge back into those units of blasting charges, though, while the other ones get taken care of. And you know what? Let's send a couple of Ungors in to join the fray. The towers are no longer active. Mooman group, you can move yourselves in as well. Alright, yeah, that seems like it's doing more damage to the enemy than it is doing to us, so maybe I shouldn't even try to focus those things down. One of our units of hounds got hurt, but we're going to heal next turn anyway, so makes no difference. You, sir, go after the Rune Lord. And everybody else just overrun the enemy. You know what, this might have been actually a fun little battle to watch. Maybe. Not a difficult battle, but fun enough for our purposes. Especially because of those, not marks of rampage, that's all on my mind, but especially because of those blasting charges. Let's actually not let the enemy do that again to us. And, alright, you guys keep on attacking any new units that run. Bully boys run through to the quarrelers, and Razor Gore herds follow along. Brass Bull has found himself a nice Rune Lord to murder. Bloodbeast, you want to activate it? Nah, there's no need. At least not at the current time. Alright, you guys go on in, kill off the rest of this. Where's that Moo Man group? Alright, you guys come on in. Probably should have sent Bravener to try to grab that key building. Why does it have a lock on it, though? You must have minor spread location under your control to contest gain victory tickets from this location. Oh, that's interesting. Since when is that a thing? I don't remember it being a thing. Well, anyway. Beastmen roar for everybody, leadership, vigor, and let's move you away. Alright, that actually turned out to be a nice little fight. Not a long one perhaps, but hey, we're here for a good time, not a long time, and we'll continue to be so. Let us raise the place, raise in advance to heal up, I think. Now, this is not worth it. Raise in advance, and don't you back off, but you won't. Ooh, Rampage earned from winning battles plus 20% blind Rampage, thank you Taurox. That sounds real nice. A Zealot. Upkeep production by 1%. I'm fairly sure this wouldn't actually work unless it's carried by the Lord, but I could be wrong. Got a Hellfire Sword as well, which gives you magical attacks, which Taurox already has via that Filth Mace, but it does give him additional flaming attacks, which is... only when imbued. Unnecessary because he carries the banner of Eternal Flame. Now... let me just see here for a sec. Alright, so Kergziflin destroyed. Morgur, do you have fire damage? You already have fire damage and you have burnt application. So that wouldn't be needed on you. Kazrak, you have poison but not oh wow, you don't have magical damage from Scourge? Okay, you need a Lichbone Pennant. The Lords should all have magical damage, damn it. Don't want them facing off against Lords which have massive amounts of physical resistance after all. Interesting. Not quite what I was expecting, but interesting. You're going to go into hidden encampment in our own territory like so, and heal up, if not quite to the max, very close to it. Then, I still haven't decided who to give that sword to. You know what, we can give it to one of the Gore Bulls that Taurox will inevitably get, and hopefully soon, as we are now building that fire pit. Alright. And we'll unlock the Gore Bulls if nothing else. We also... did we build this thing here? No, we did not. Probably a decent time to build it. Expensive though it may be. Not crazy expensive though. Alright, the rest I think is fine. We don't really need the Gore building in Taurox's army, so we're not going to waste our money upgrading it. We're going to allow Bravener to heal, but we're going to replace him with Slaw, because Slaw has that unsated bloodlust. And we'll have to try to keep an eye out for Doom Bulls later on, once we have the capability of recruiting them, or Gore Bulls rather, with the same power. Now you, I would like you to attack Reyes, but I think you're going to wait at Lequeno for a turn. Let's go for Quell Animosity here as well, because you're not having the best time. We will want to build this thing here for Harpies, the Den. We need many, many Harpies. Alright, Crowfather gives us Harpy capacity as well. And the missile resistance for the army ain't too bad, but yeah, we're definitely gonna need that. Piles of harpies and some manticores, which I take it are built from the same tree. You have the heads on pikes, you probably want to go to the tier 3, but we'll be completely out of money if we do that. I guess then the question is, do we want to build anything else with anybody else? You can have the raiding group for it to 1875, which is quite cheap. And we do want that in every army. I mean, you want this as well. And wait, Taurox is building the level 1 of it. And we want to keep spamming those everywhere. I think it might actually be more valuable than the tier 3 at the current time for Malagor. Alright, fine. Then we're going to do that. Let's do your raiding party. I know it's only 1%, but, you know, if when every lord gets 5% and you have, like, 10 lords on the field, that's massive. Every little bit will count. Alright, and we're rapidly gonna run out of cash at this rate, but it is what it is. In fact, wait, Malagor, you have a giant. Now let's get a few other units in here. Do we want to get a couple warhounds, maybe a couple Ungor raiders, and 2 Ungor spears, and a Ungor herd? And that's all we can recruit right now. I'm gonna recruit more stuff. Oh, wait. We can also recruit stuff directly from the Estalian Highland. So let's get an Ungor herd. Let's replace you 2 spears without shields with 2 more Ungor herds. Okay, we can only build 1 more Ungor herd. Well, that's just fine. I guess what we can do then... A moment. Cancel the first spear. Build it here, and then build the Ungor Raiders here. There we go, 20 out of 20. Alright. That was much more confusing than it needed to be. Or maybe it did need to be confusing. Anyway, Khazrak, I guess we're gonna fight this since that little fight turned out to be a nice little fight and I decided to make this a cinematic. I don't see why we wouldn't make this one the same. Let's make sure that we level up your mage with Soul Blight though, as it'll be very instrumental or very useful in the tight confines of the enemy miners settlement. Otherwise, away we go. Cinematic battle 2. Alrighty, here we go. Unlike the previous battle, this one will be a cinematic, and we're going to do it a little bit differently than before. Since we have a highly mobile army with all those warhounds and all those razor gorers in Khazrak's army, we've deployed in 4 separate locations in this minor settlement. The biggest blob made up of our Bistigors and our Minotaurs and a decent amount of Gors, Ungors, and our mage will head directly to combat the enemy. In melee, the Slangors, or Tsangors rather, will lead because they are shielded, armored, and they have that barrier of theirs, and are thus probably going to take less damage to enemy range fire even than the heavily armored Bestigors are. And the Tsangors even have more HP, so they're good for this particular purpose. And they're going to lead in and try to get as many units here. A secondary group made up of just a couple units of Gors with shields and some Ungors will try to distract a blob of enemies over on this side, while Khazrak, who is leading a decent pile of Warhounds and some Razor Gors and Chariots, will head some of them to hit those other units in the back, while the rest try to work our way through the enemy mortars and whatever other units the enemy has left behind. A second set of Razor Gors and Hounds of Pestilence was also deployed here. I was thinking that there may be some enemies deployed here, but it looks like no, so they'll probably join Khazrak here before heading directly into the enemy settlement. Anyway, let's begin. Khazrak's going to take a little bit of a time to reach the enemy, and it looks like the Gors here will be the first in. We're going to herald them with a nice Soul Blight on the enemy to significantly reduce their fighting capabilities. At least for a little while. As obviously the relatively unbuffed Gors in this army, better than Ungors perhaps, but not so much better, and that they're as strong as Imperial State troops in a fair fight like this. and we don't need that. On the bright side, this isn't going to be nearly as fair of a fight. Ooh, nice goring animation from one of our Minotaurs there, as they are leading the charge together with those Sangors and Bestigors, doubling up on the infantry that they pick up with their horns. Very nice, very nice. And then we're going to back them off and allow the Sangors to take damage. Gotta be wary of the enemy handgunners and crossbows, ripping those single unit of Minotaurs apart. Over on this side, Kazrak and his fast movers have arrived, and the halberdiers are holding them off, but I don't imagine they will be for long. Poison, bleed, and Kazrak's presence with the Bane of Drakwald makes these guys pretty darn debuffed, though despite that, they still have 61 melee defense, and gotta love those halberdiers specifically for that purpose. I don't think anything in our roster at the current time without significant buffs has that much melee defense. On the bright side though, now they're out, more Razor Gores and Hounds of Pestilence have joined the fray, and the spears and mortars will be brought down shortly as well. We have seen the enemy Lord move in on this side. We got Ungor arrows arcing overhead. Right into the enemy, though they do have a decent pile of shielded units here and less halberdiers, which I guess, even if it wasn't on purpose, was a good move by the enemy. Thangors and Pestigors, Thangors and Bestigors, not Pestigors, though there will be both Bestigors and Pestigors in the Nurgle army, so that will inevitably be very confusing for me. These guys are working together and continue fighting the enemy on roughly even grounds. A Spirit Leech comes down on the enemy Arch-Elector, who is also in pretty bad shape and is being hunted down by our mage at the same time. Should be able to bring that Lector down. Come on, a couple more hits. One of those great axes. Camera's gonna get wonky in here because of the close proximity of these walls, but oh well. Alright, he's gonna get out of there if you don't hit him a few more times. Come on now. I think that Arch-Elector went a little bit too far into our formation, and that it will cause him to go down. I saw you. It was one of the Bestigors that got that kill. And very, very nice, though the Spirit Leech, I'm sure, and did most of the damage. Otherwise, Kazrak and his fast movers are done over on this side of the map, and will now move towards these next units of halberdiers and towards these guys. Unfortunately, they have forced the Ungors to rout, and we did back off the Gors. These guys didn't actually rout, and we just didn't want to take or have them take too much damage. So we'll wait until the reinforcements from Kaz arrive, and then we'll send the Gors at least back in, perhaps even with a little bit of help from those Minotaurs. And the Hounds of Pestilence and the Razor Gores will once again lead, and while this is once again a unit of halberdiers, this is a solid combination even against them, and they'll be overrun and destroyed relatively shortly. Oh man, the Hounds of Pestilence are also pretty darn big boys as well. Just out of curiosity, Hounds of Pestilence here, Hounds of... damn it. Try to get the unit card up and running. They do count as a large entity, so the halberdiers get a little bit of a bonus against them, though by the looks of it, not enough of one, as the first unit of halberds are out. The Minotaurs and the Gors are working their way back into the fray to surround the enemy units, and a couple of our units of regular warhounds, not the pestilential variety, have looped around and made their way into the settlement, meaning the enemy crossbows and the enemy handguns are done for and will provide no further support to the enemies at this choke point. Choke point's going pretty well, as we can see the Sangors have started to break through together with those Bestigors, and it's only a matter of grinding down the enemy Empire state troops and killing off the rest of their heroes and lords. Griswold Mosher, the enemy Empire captain, has a Spirit Leech break him apart. And I don't know how you got around the entire enemy army there, single Sangor, but good job to you. And I do believe with that, and with the enemy finally surrounded and getting hit from multiple directions, and all their forces and all their range units tied up by warhounds, the battle is ours, and We got, what, a third win? I can't remember how many, but another win for Khazrak. Ooh, he is level 11, so perhaps this will give us that reward, making the army significantly stronger once he has buffs for Gors and Ungors and Warhounds. Well, let's see if that was enough. Alrighty, a nice, fun little fight. I don't usually bother to attack those minor settlements from various directions, but with an early game Beastmen army, better safe than sorry. More importantly than that, Khazrak has hit level 12, which means his army is about to get a whole lot stronger. We are going to raise a new herd stone here. There we go, and Manish Thrall, leadership when fighting against humans, heroes army, and Razor Gore Chariot on Khazrak as well. Bray Shaman's familiar, a pelt of the Shadow Gave, should probably go to the Shadow Gave, although the missile resistance probably is actually more useful either on Khaz or on Taurox. Now, and as somebody asked in the comments why I decided to delete this, it's because we wanted to build this thing here, the next runestone or herdstone. Because there's no way to guarantee that these guys wouldn't immediately destroy this one, and I'd like to start racking up the devastation, and herdstones do block each other, so that made sense to me. We are going to probably want to rebuild a couple of these units, the damaged units I mean, so that they're instantly recovered. You and you. And we'll recover you Gors, and then Ungors we will... I'm just wondering now whether we should get capacity, additional capacity for the various types of Ungors and Gors. Or do we have other things that we want to spend the dread on? We could also... Best Gore capacity, Sandgore capacity. There's a lot of decent stuff here. We do want more Hounds of Pestilence as well, because they're basically universally useful. I'll think about it. I will give it some thought. Oh, what we do want to do, though, is we want to build the Razor Gore Chariot building for Khazrak. I wish it wasn't so horrifically expensive, though. I feel like I'd prefer the various raiding group buildings over it. It's not like we're hurting without the Razor Gore Chariots, you know what I mean? But anyway, for now, Bestial Cunning for you, sir. We want Houndmaster and we want Hordes of the Drakewald, which is probably the one that we want to get first. And just for that melee attack for the Ungors, Gors, and Bestigors. And a little bit of extra missile strength for the Raiders as well. And then we'll put all the other points as fast as we can. Ooh. Yeah, Feral Fervor, Attribute Stock for Gors, God Gors, Bestigors, Chaos Warhounds, Razor Gore Herds, and Harpies. Huh. I take it that Malagor doesn't get stock for Harpies, but Khazrak does. I feel like Malagor should, if anybody should. And then, yeah, we'll want to get that Houndmaster trait and those additional buffs for those Razor Gores and Hounds. A little bit regretting keeping Blessed by Evil, but hey, he is Blessed by Evil, so, you know, it makes sense to keep it in some ways. Anyway, the rest of the army should heal up nicely. Morgar is good where he is, though once again I am tempted to build a few more of these raiding groups everywhere. Ooh, wait, the giant building is tier 3, eh? Because we want to get one of these at... well, not the giant per se, we want the Gorgons in the army of Taurox. And certainly something to take a look at. Well, either way, I think we will still build a raiding group here, and we will build another level of the raiding class here, and we can't afford another, so those are the only ones that we'll build for now. Taurox is otherwise happy, minus the potential for getting a few of those Ungors back up and running. So, let's merge all of you guys. And you're still fine. The Destroyers of the Drakewald are still hurt, but I don't think we care. Let's get mostly spears. And they're more useful in this army than the non-spear units are. Like so. And I don't think we need to adjust anything else unless I'm wrong. Alright, let's just do a quick diplomacy check. Clan Scab wants a non-aggression, but we don't care about that. Defensive alliance with Skaven, no point. Because they're not chaos. And ooh, the Fecundites want us to do a mission of some sort. Defeat Albrich Witzenheimer. Yes, okay, we can do that. we were going to head up here and around there anyway. We are not going to perform this ritual for another 2 turns, I take it, as Aelhart will still appreciate the devastation from Hellspire. And while we are going to move up to Marienburg, that'll be a while from now, so I think we'll wait. Yeah, the rest of this is fine. Low Bestial Rage on, on Malagor. Yeah, well, that's why he's doing his thing. Skip unassigned skill points, at least for now. Skip. And turn. Alright, now I'm really hoping that putting Slaw in Taurox's army won't disallow him from using the beast paths to go up to Hellspire. Really, really hoping, as it would be unfortunate if it did. But we do still want to swap those units around. Morgur still does not have a caster, and he damn well needs one. Siegfried Schmidt, Vampire Coast, wants to randomly declare war on us. Sure. Okay, I don't see why you'd do that, but whatever. In the sense that it's not going to help him, and we're rather far from him, but whatever. Alright, it's more stuff to destroy, and we were going to do that anyway. I probably should have tried to ask Clannishan to join the war. Looks like another quest is available of some kind. And it's the Dark Mail for Khazrak. Wow, I guess this is an old unique item because it's kind of trash. I mean, 35 armor and the massive amount of spell resistance in melee ain't horrible. I do like the spell resistance. But honestly, a little bit of ward save, a little bit of physical resistance, something along those lines would be much nicer on Khazrak, especially when he's on that, that mount of his, on that chariot. It would be unfortunate to lose the missile resistance. In fact, Armor of Destiny would probably be better than his Dark Mail, but I think these things have a income from rating plus 50%. Yeah, that's something. Alright, let's see what we have here. Erdgig is on the way from Groiden. And I see Azag the Slaughterer running around, though he is friendly with our chaotic allies. Nonetheless, he might be something we want to destroy, though unfortunately, unlike Taurox's army, I don't think Khazrax is quite up to the task yet, so we may have to just sort of leave him there. And did he just sack Fort Schiphol? Yes, he did. Well, that's a shame as well, because that was our job. Morgur, you're gonna go into... You can't reach it with the Ruination, so I guess you're gonna go into Beastmen Ambush and take Alenhof out. And with a quick little auto-resolve. There's nothing here, right? Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Or at least not enough to be concerned with. And really, that's going to kill off 3 of... Really, this? Oh. Oh no, that's not good. I fear that the auto-resolve doesn't like Morgur's army. Huh. We may have to adjust it. Really, this garbage? And it's not a minor settlement, so we could just blast through that particular battle real quick, which we will probably have to do. Either way, Taurox. You're up, sir. Brabener, you're gonna leave the army, sad though it may be. Taurox, we're gonna pop you in to use Beastpath stance first. Then Brabener will leave. And we're gonna get you in here, Salah. Though Brabener has been in here for a long, long time. Alright, Taurox, can you still jump up here? No, that doesn't leave you with enough range, unfortunately. Damn, that's a crying shame. Alright. We could... Cannot replenish Taurox's action points while in Beastpath stance. Oh. I guess we could move and then replenish. Can't say I like either option. Guess we could try to move over here to Vifan, then attack Castle Paravent first, but... Well, Vifan isn't in range of this. I'm hoping... yeah, but if we can't screw this up, because the momentum will drop then, and the Savage Rampage will be gone, and we do want that Horde building construction cost. We could head up here to Marienburg instead of this. Maybe burn down Elftown as well, though the problem with Marienburg is we wouldn't be able to... get this up and running. Yeah, kind of an interesting question, actually, as to what to do here. Well, either way, Brabener, that doesn't change the fact that you, sir, have to move. I was really hoping to go down here with Taurox, knock out the Empire's last territory here as well without having Morgur have to do it. Alright, I think Since we have no choice, Taurox is going to have to waste one turn by moving this way to Bogenhofen, and then we'll move to Hellspire and Castle Drakenfels, and we will use our replenishment next turn instead. Because this will take us to 0 momentum, right? Because it'll take 3 right now, since we don't have that reduction down to 2. Yeah. Oh well, not a big deal, Kaz. You're going to probably attack Ergig, but Malagor, I'm more interested in what you can do. Your army is still extremely basic, and we don't have capacity for Harpies until you reach level 12. I mean, I suppose we could spend some dread on it, but I'm not sure that it's the best idea. Now, I guess the question is, do we keep Lequeno? I mean, I'm sure that we could win the fight here. It is a field battle, after all. If it was a non-field battle, it would be a much bigger issue. Though the Ungors would lose, we have a decent pile of other units to rely upon. And we do have that Penumbral Pendulum that we could use. Oh, hello. Wait. He has a different set of buffs for these things. Well, that's interesting. I want to see what this does. Armor 15 and melee defense +5. Damn, he certainly does need that armor. And then an increase in armor for everything, including Harpies, which is probably what we're going to do. Yeah, I'd take the extra armor over the weapon strength. The damage dealers, their biggest issue is that they are so fragile. Making them less fragile will be the way to go. I'm just wondering whether we should do this now or wait until we're level 12. I still think that we should probably wait. Is this enough to attack? Or, well, you know what, I think it is enough. Let's get you Gargantuan Hooves. Yeah, let's get you Gargantuan Hooves. And then let's move in a second. Yeah, it's starting to get confusing with all these lords up and running and doing various things. Oh, right, Morgar's stupid little battle. I might just do that off screen because it feels like a waste of time. I do want to see what's at Ergig, though. Can you go into Ruination stance over there? You cannot. Well, that's a shame. Alright, go outside it then. Army's more or less at full HP, and we have, well, we do have plenty of defenders there. Alright, Pyrrhic Victory. And plenty of enemies. I did that the wrong way. I don't know whether we'll actually bother waiting. There's a decent likelihood that we'll just straight up attack, but I'm more inclined to see what Malagor does. So we'll attack with him, and just have to make the decision as to whether we burn down Lequeno. Kinda hesitant to lose the second thing here, but... Oh, but if we do it this turn, we wouldn't be able to pop a new one of these either. I guess we don't have to attack the Skaven right now, which would allow us to keep this. You know what? Fine. Fine. We won't acquire any Marks of Ruination, but we'd still be able to get Malagor a debut battle, so I think we'll do it this way. You, sir, you have one settlement and you are at war with Clan Eshin and Clan Kyrian. Who's stronger? Eshin looks stronger, so let's Clan Kyrian to join war against you for 1,000 gold. Not a lot of gold, but we don't care, plus we'll destroy both of them later on anyway. Alright, Malagor, away. Lie, my pretty. And close defeat, you say, but it is a field battle, so we can take advantage of that. Gift of Chaos gives a melee attack +10, which I guess we will put on maybe one of the Harpies. They'll be pretty necessary to dish out as much damage as possible to that back line, but otherwise, away we go. Alrighty, here we go, debut of the Dark Omen on a suitably dark map. As well, the enemy army will, I'm sure, cower in fear at the presence of Malagor, who is ill-famed throughout the lands of the Empire. Dark Portent, as he is living, and Dark Portent, as he is. He loves casting down the religious icons of the enemy, their temples and such, and I'm sure, well, he'll do so, though this faction only has the single army. and single settlement. There probably won't be too much for him to find. I'm sure he'll find better. Anyway, we have Vanguard deployed our Ungors all towards the enemy army, but they will serve mostly as distractions, and maybe a little bit of damage from the Ungor Raiders as well. We do have a Beastman Giant in the background, but alas, it has no Vanguard deployment, and will have to very, very slowly make it towards the enemy ranks. Fortunately, even though our single Manticore was also not Vanguard deployable, it is pretty darn quick with that 95 speed, and will be able to join the fray and provide its poison support to our units. And to help Malagor bring down that enemy lord. Ooh, a nice penumbral pendulum works its way right through those enemy lines, and in the background our hounds and our harpies make their way in. Gotta be a pretty terrifying position for the units of the Empire to be. You can't see anything, and there are harpies and warhounds just ripping everything apart. But it works nicely for us. Let's watch the part of the battle that's that's reasonably visible, though it looks like there won't be too much more of it, as the very festively color-schemed enemies are just about done for. Ooh, nice swing from that Gore Bull as well. Gonna get a few more of those into the army of... Nice. Into the army of Taurox as soon as we have the capacity. And I guess the dread resources as well. But otherwise, it's just a simple matter of forcing the last of the enemy forces to rout here. A very quick battle, more harpies come down, and this time where they are visible, as we force the last of the few fighting units to rout. I think there's a great sword unit that was still fighting, or holding on. But by the way, they are still holding on. Well, good job to the great swords, but Malagor has arrived. And a giant silhouette looming in the dark and over your units, and the Gore Bull there as well. There we go. Yeah, well, these dark battles do happen occasionally, so I'm sure we'll have some non-dark battles for Malagor soon, but still, a heroic victory for his debut is an auspicious portent for us, even if it's a dark omen for our enemies. Alright, there we go, got ourselves another Iron Curse icon, but otherwise the battle was easy enough. A heroic victory due to the auto-resolve severely underestimating the, well, Ungors. Maybe not underestimating so much, but nonetheless. 46k damage on Malagor. From 2 casts, a single Flock of Doom and then a single Penumbral Pendulum non-overcast, so that's pretty darn good in terms of the damage he's dealt. Alrighty, well done. We will loot and raise. We gotta make as much use of the joining of herds as possible, as we'll probably never get that thing going again. But it's good to get it so early on. Loot and raise. And you're not gonna move? Swell. Alright, enemy killed in battle, and we get that Iron Curse icon, and this enemy faction should have been destroyed, at least I imagine so. You, sir. Can't use Beast Paths right now. Oh, too bad we don't have the bonus range of Beast Paths on Taurox, as he would have been able to jump up towards Castle Drakenfell. You cannot return to Lequin. No, I guess you can go to Hidden Encampment then. Although, wait, the Hidden Encampment hurts our Bestial Rage, while the raiding does not. But doesn't actually offer us any more healing, so I think we'll stay in raiding stance just because. And start moving towards Ciernos, though I do have to wonder whether there is anything there, like any Skaven or not. We'll probably pop up a new Herdstone somewhere out here, and then somewhere out here as well. But frankly, everything around Malagor doesn't really like him very much, so yeah. Oh! I guess instead of healing, you know what, go into raiding or encampment stance. We could get a few of these units healed up to full just by re-upping them, although we're down in terms of Ungor capacity. Oh, fine. How are we always running out of Ungor capacity? Let's get another one of these. There we go. Hopefully we'll never need to again, as we probably will never have that many Ungors. Again. And disband you, sir. And then we'll disband... Well, actually, your veterancy is somewhat useful. Let's do 2 spears and then another one of these guys, I guess. Or, if we're in this stance anyway, maybe now is the time to get more harpies. Probably would be more useful than some of these Ungor raiders and stuff like that, eh? How much is the capacity? It's 250, ugh. It is expensive. Oh, what's our... When's the next moon? Turns out the full moon 5? Okay, yeah, that's gonna be a while. That's gonna be a while. Alright, fine, I'm willing to use a little bit more of this stuff. If you're wondering why I was thinking about the moon... Oh, maybe we should... Wait, can you build Hounds of Pestilence? You can. We should at least put a couple of them in your army. Fine. Alright. One into Hounds of Pestilence and Razorgore Herd, and one into Giant Feral Manticore and Harpies. Frankly, we'll need the additional Manticores as well as soon as we can actually build them, which is not the case for you as yet. Morgar can, because he has this building, but you do not. Alrighty, also you can, though, build a raiding class building here. More movement, more raiding, and you can build some more Harpies. One more Harpy. Okay, and then we'll get rid of, let's say, one Ungor Herd, and then one... Ungor raid. No, you know what? Just get rid of the Beastmen Warhounds. Replace them with Hounds of Pestilence. Assuming we can build 2 at the same time, and indeed we can. Do we want a couple of Razorgore Herds? I think we do. A Raider and that one now. They're nice. They combine well both with the melee line. It's sort of like pseudo-minotaurs. And, we can't build 2, but we'll do that. And then instead, we'll build another one next turn, or whenever we can. Alright, Malagor. That should make your army a little bit stronger for everybody around you that is, that hates you or is afraid of you. Alright, low bestial rage, I already did that. Unassigned skill points we can ignore, building upgrades available. I do have a little bit of money, but not so much that we want to spend right now. Taurox is fine as he is. Oh, minus this, devolve, because we spam it. I guess we'll get Bestial Surge, and Vile Tide is the one of these I use the most, so it's probably still going to be Vile Tide. And there's a decent amount of things that we can use in here, and I would still like to get a Beast Shaman in Taurox's army anyway, because I think it'll work nicely with the various Minotaurs. Now, you can recruit Gorbals. Oh, we have unsated Bloodlust on one of them, but we don't have the capacity. Well, that's a shame. Hopefully he'll still be up next turn if we can get 500 Dread. Technically, we should wait until the full moon... Oh, wait. It's not the full moon. It's a Rampage type. Cataclysmic Rampage. Dread gain plus 200 Dread cost minus 50% for increasing capacity of Gorbals. Now that's what we want. And, wait, are we able to mill through them? No, we're not. They're not free. Damn. Okay, well, that's a shame, but there isn't much we can do about it. Okay, the only ones that are left to move is Morgar, which I think I'll do between the episodes, because, frankly, this is kind of ridiculous. A moment. You're not that hurt. Are you, Taurox? What are we looking at for the Rune-Tortured Axes? We are rapidly running out of time, but are we so rapidly running out of time? Oh, wow. We are near to, the 35 out of 35 raise, loot occupied, etc., etc. Missions, Rune-Tortured Axes, a bunch of Dark Elves. Now, the Shades and Executioners are scary, but are they so scary that they would be able to face up against Taurox? I don't think so. Let's torture some axes. Taurox has recently been... Moment. You can teleport in ambush stance, there we go. Back to you, Kent. Alright, Taurox has recently been afflicted by yet another blood-soaked vision. While in a momentary trance, he bears witness to tall, slender beings, ripping still-beating hearts from the chests of victims, dragged screaming in terror onto altars awash with blood. That could be Beastmen. Against a cacophony of manic drumming, that could be Beastmen, and shrill pipes. Coming to his senses, he realizes the slender beings of his vision were dark elves, or more specifically, witch elves, who once a year descend on the streets of their own cities in unbridled celebration of violent murder of their own kin, known as Death Night. With the knowledge of what his visions mean, Taurox's bloodthirst is stronger than ever. He will traverse the beast paths to Nagaroth to take part in the bloodshed, where there will be no discerning the elven murderers from their targets. Swell. Swelltastic. Swevely indeed. Alright, teleport. Let's do another quest battle, shall we? Pyrrhic Victory. We got Norscan. Oh my. Oh, this is gonna be a toughie. We got Sporkticus helping him out. You gotta love Sporkticus. Yeah, the two Hydras. Are those Cold One... Okay, they're Cold One Knights, not Dread Knights, but two Blackguard and Agaron, a Giant. This looks like an interesting battle. Maybe we should have saved this for next episode. Too late. Once a year, the witch elves descend on the streets of their... that's just the same thing, isn't it? Sort of. The witch elves descend onto the streets of their cities in unbridled celebration of murder. This is Death Night. Arriving on the city outskirts, and the Brass Bull observes the blood-red smog emanating from the twisted mansions, a sight that heightens his bloodlust even more. Alrighty, here we go. We may not have Wheaties for Taurox quite yet, but hey, as a consolation prize, let's get him some of his rune-tortured axes. Maybe that'll keep him happy for several seconds before he goes right back into his Slaughterfest. Anyway, a massive force of Dark Elves is arrayed against us, and they have a reinforcing army which is potentially even stronger. And then this one, there are Executioners and Shades here, and Blackguard of Nagarond, and Hydras, who will be reinforcing. We gotta try to do as much damage to this first army before the second arrives, and I don't know when the Norskins are going to arrive, or the Orcs, but, well, those are all potentially concerning. Ooh, a very nice map. We can see the towers of the Dark Elves over on this cliffy sort of area, icy cliffy sort of area. Nice statue of Cain in the background as well, overlooking the slaughter that's about to occur. So at least Cain should be happy one way or another. I'm just going to take a look at this map because I don't recall this one, and it is quite nice. Alrighty, well, nice map aside, it's going to be all red sooner rather than later. Let's just speed it up as we move in, and Taurox will be first into the fray. We're going to try to charge him directly through the enemy army, and we are going to try to get towards that enemy sorcerer's eye. I love watching Taurox just charge through ranks, just ignore the infantry. It's great. We gotta try to bring the enemy sorceress down to prevent her from doing too much damage. Our Ungors will be very vulnerable to that lure of fire. And speaking of the lure of fire, it looks like the first of the cast is out, and it is a burning head, but on the bright side, it looks like the enemy whiffed on that one, and we just ran past it. The enemy should have waited until all the Ungors and the Minotaurs were engaged before casting, and though I suppose if they had, the enemy would then have been forced to hit their own troops, but, you know. Over in the background and on the flanks, we have our Razor Gores and our Hounds of Pestilence, who have engaged the enemy Shades, as with their armor piercing, they're relatively threatening, and we certainly don't want them focusing down our Minotaurs and dishing out too much damage. Same thing is happening over on this side as the other unit of Shades gets completely overrun by 4 units of our fast movers at once, who could do a little bit of damage to the enemy Dread Spears and Bleak Swords, but will over time probably peel away to go after the rest of the enemy Dark Shards. Looks like a unit of enemy Harganeth Executioners has surrounded to some degree Taurox, but I'm not sure that's where they want to be. Like the Incubi of the Dark Elves, they want to practice that single killing strike, but I don't think a single killing strike is going to work against Taurox. He's going to pop that Bloodbeast to knock a few of them away and damage them, and head instead towards the enemy Death Hag, as we gotta bring down that Bloodwrack Cauldron. Or wait, that's not a Bloodwrack Cauldron, that is a Shrine of Cain. You're not a Medusa after all, but anyway, you'll be nothing soon enough as Taurox has you in sight and you're down to about half HP, Death Egg. And there is still an enemy Lord to consider here, an enemy Dreadlord, but, well, Taurox can pick his targets. How long remains to be seen. A few of our units of Ungors have already routed, and we can see heavy damage on several of the Ungors, especially those ones that were forced to fight Executioners. We're going to move a Hands of Pestilence, a Razorgore unit, and some Marauders. Or not Marauders. The Marauders confused me. Made me want to call them Marauders. Some Minotaurs to fight those Executioners and get even more of them in the back. Gotta get these guys off the field, ideally before they activate Murderous Prowess. We've got that Devolve coming down, and it looks like the enemy Death Hag is in very bad shape, although the enemy Lord is trying to chase down, and fairly effectively I might add, our Bray Shaman, who looks to be about to rout. Taurox is gonna move in and help out, I hope, if he doesn't get too distracted by all of the enemies around him. There he goes. And make sure we protect that Bray Shaman from dying. Otherwise, it looks like the enemy reinforcements have arrived and the balance of power shifts very much in the enemy's favor. About 35, maybe 40% in our favor, as that's quite a few reinforcements. 2 units of Cold One Dread Knights, plenty of infantry, missile, and melee, like a chariot riding high Beastmaster, and those 2 Hydras and Black Guard of Nagaron to consider. We'll see how effective they are against Taurox, who now switches to his next target, that enemy Dreadlord, who is fighting, or trying to run down our Shaman. The enemy Death Hag is very low in HP as well, but I believe is possibly in the routing, and will simply get brought down by the pile of units around. Alrighty, and it looks like the Death Hag is not the only one, as the enemy Dreadlord will rout as well, attempting to escape from Taurox. And guess you were going after the easy target in the form of the Bray Shaman, who has been replaced and thus does not have his mount to get away yet. But Taurox will run you down, as he's pretty darn quick. And, oh, that didn't quite do it. Come on, one more time. Oh, I see the Death Hag's Shrine of Cain explode in the background. So that's 1 hero down. And another one should fall shortly, trying to get away, but Taurox is just too massive and can just block the enemy off. As long as it works, which it does. 344 HP, come on, one more hit. I don't want to be spending 8 years watching this part. And one more time. Oh, come on. You missed. You missed the roll. One more time. Try again. There we go, and you got the kill with the horns. Very nice. Alrighty, the enemy Murderous Prowess is activated, and the second army, almost on cue, arrives to help out the first, though a little bit too late. The units of Cold One Riders are a little bit too late, as they join the fray by themselves and thus run into our Minotaurs and our Fast Movers. As we can see, there are very few, if any, units of Ungors remaining here, as most of them will have gotten way too heavily damaged or otherwise routed. But that's okay. Our greenskin quote-unquote allies have arrived on the field as Sporkticus is getting ready to join the fray and crush the enemy armies, though there is still that wild card of Norskins that we have to wait on. Our army will in fact back off, since it's only the fast movers that are still there, and allow the orcs to take some damage while we regroup and get ready. And by we, I mean everybody other than Taurox, because Taurox has just got to keep fighting. He heard there were Wheaties to be found, not just axes, on this battlefield, and he's damn well gonna find them. The anti-large of the Cold One Spears is probably going to be at least somewhat threatening to him. Weapon strength 88 and armor piercing. Not too bad. Let's see how many of them Taurox can kill. There's that Bloodbeast activation, which is not going to knock them away since they're not infantry, but I'm sure it is going to dish out damage. Alright, and they're shaken and their damage is sustained, or their damage has been sustained, I should say, and a few more to knock out, and I'm sure Taurox will be able to move on. He's down to about 75% of his HP and has now activated his Potion of Toughness, counteracting the enemy bonuses against him by some, and also healing up a little bit. Alright, good use of the enemy Cold One Knights against Taurox there, but probably not for much longer. The rest of our army is engaged, and we've even brought in a few of our Ungors to try to help out again. And it looks like the enemy Blackguard of Nagaron will be holding our main army, or what remains of it, off. I've been very happy with this quest battle. It's a lot of enemies. Speaking of all those enemies, the Norskins have arrived on the field, and there's plenty more enemies to take care of. Taurox is still more or less fine himself and has now forced those cold ones to rout, but he has other things to do. He did damage that high Beastmaster who tried to get away but only got caught by the Orc Biggins, and it looks like Taurox will have taken him out. And, ooh, even one of our Razor Gores is pretty badly damaged, at least in terms of HP, if not in its model losses. It is probably a good thing that the enemy was forced to activate its murderous prowess earlier, back before the Blackguard of Nagaron could take too much advantage of it. Granted, some of the executioners did, but at least that was when our army was in relatively decent shape still. Alright, but the Minotaurs and the various other fast movers are working fairly well together. Taurox has found a unit of Bleak Swords that was probably the closest target to him, and is just going to rip a few of them apart to help out. Just fighting on par with the rest of this entire army combined. Alright, and looks like the Blackguard of Nagaron here are down to about half HP. Any units that were with them are routing and or shattering, and it's just a matter of surrounding and destroying them as well. There is still an enemy Hydra or two to take care of out here. And an enemy Giant and a Norscan Lord as well, so we'll have to deal with those in a little bit. But at least the orcs are serving their purpose, although of course with the Ungors pretty much out of commission for our main army, we've got the benefit of our fast-moving units being able to just outrun the remnants of the enemy armies. And we can simply move right back in and attack as needed. Alright, let's watch some Greenskins face off against some Norskins here. Which is nice. Kinda used to all the Greenskins fighting from the Grimgore campaign. Though perhaps not as used to the Greenskins fighting Norskins, as that hasn't really happened all that much there. And ooh, Hydra Breath coming down on some of those Orc Error Boys, and it looks like dropping them by about 75% HP. Sporticus is now facing off against the enemy Hydra, but I think one-on-one, he's not going to have a great time here. But we can see over in the distance a massive silhouette charging towards the enemy. Taurox has seen the Hydras, and he's heading towards them, while the rest of his army picks up any isolated units and destroys them, and will soon be heading towards those Marauder Berserkers. Taurox, kill. The rest of the army, I guess, also kill. Alright, and here come the Hounds and the Razor Gores, and the Minotaurs, of course. And we're going to send about half of them into the fray against the Marauders from one side, and then have the rest move in from the flank and the rear, surround them, and hopefully destroy them, as they have a relatively low melee defense and should be pretty darn susceptible to the lethal poison and bleed as well, lowly armored as they are. Taurox has found the first of the enemy Hydras, which has rallied, and will be going after this thing. Looks like the biggest thing that he can fight, and thus he's got to fight it. And it looks like the Hydra wants no more of this, as it will rout in face of fighting Taurox and be brought down, only for another Hydra to join as well. Well, that's playing into Taurox's hands or hooves, I think, as I'm sure he wanted to play with this Hydra and the enemy Lord as well. Though both of them attacking him at the same time might do some damage, and we have to be wary of the Giant joining in. But hopefully we can simply out-damage them and bring them down. How's that Hydra looking? Down to about half HP, and in fact it has reached its healing cap. Whereas Taurox is still pretty okay and has not reached his own healing cap, I mean. And there we go, a few more hits on that Hydra and we'll be able to bring it down. The rest of our army continues facing off against the enemy Berserkers, but that they can handle. The two Hydras and the Giant and the enemy Lord might have been a little bit more tough. Taurox surrounded by Marauders, but we'll be sure to try to bring that Hydra down to make sure that it doesn't return after having recovered. They do have a tendency to rout and then rally, and then on the path that they take to rout and rally, recover like half of their HP. Well, let's not have that happen. Anyway, Marauders see their Hydra go down, and the Berserkers will escape, leaving the enemy Chieftain to duel Taurox. It's a brave, brave Chieftain, having seen Taurox wade through a sea of dark elven blood, only to take down two Hydras, head by head by head, and then head directly to fight said Chieftain, and already bring him down to about half HP. Sporticus's army is in pretty bad shape as well. In fact, the orcs are pretty much done for, but our main coast has pretty much overrun the Marauder Berserkers as well. But this battle is Taurox's show. These are his axes after all. He was forced the enemy Lord to rout, and will now switch to the Giant. He's just fighting everything today. Alright, the Giant looks big, but I'm sure we can hack him apart bit by bit, and in fact the Giant already has less HP than Taurox does. Giants are pretty darn good at dishing out damage to single entities, though. So we do have to be wary, and ooh, the Lord has rallied. A little bit of an opportunist, are ya? You thought that Taurox was distracted by the Giant, but was he distracted? He runs faster than a horse, so you can't get away this time. And Taurox can move back into the fray. Nice rolling charge into the Giant, who's down to about half HP, and apparently confident. But we'll see how long that confidence lasts as the balance of power shifts to about 90% and 99%, let's say, in our favor. And the rest of the enemy army is destroyed. Only the Giant is on the field, and a few more axe blows from Taurox, and we'll see it break, and the battle ours. I'm a little bit surprised that Taurox doesn't have the mass or capability to like stagger giants by like fully like knock them down like a cannonball would, but I'm not sure that models like this can do it. I gotta pay attention to whether other monsters can actually knock giants and, well, each other to the ground or not, because I feel like Taurox should be able to. He's gotta be pretty dense with his brass skin, right? There's a lot of brass and muscular density in there. He should be like a cannonball smashing into the Giant, and probably quite a bit more, both from the momentum and the weight of it. But anyway, a Pyrrhic victory for us, and he certainly took damage. The Ungors all pretty much fled the field. Our shaman got pretty much destroyed, but Taurox absolutely cleaned house. Ooh, that was a very, very fun battle. A lot more enemies to slay than I was originally expecting going into that, and damn, was it fun. Taurox, obviously, the MVP in that particular battle, taking out the Dark Elf Lords, followed by the two Hydras, followed by the Norscan Lord and the Giant, all without support at all. Just Taurox versus the world, and he's got nearly 50k damage. The Brace Shaman nearly died, but looks like just barely managed to survive. Tons and tons of damage on our various Razor Gores. You gotta love that bleed effect, and the damage from the Hounds of Pestilence as well, from the poison and the various named Minotaurs. Ungors existed, but otherwise these guys did very, very nicely. I have to wonder whether it would just be effective to just not even use Ungors and just spam Razor Gores and Hounds until we can get more Minotaurs, but I mean, it's working. It's working so far. We could lose the Bestial Rage, but 3.4k is worth it in my opinion, so yeah, we'll lose the Bestial Rage. Plus, we'll get the additional 5k from this, which altogether is looking pretty nice. Now, unfortunately, what I should have done is I shouldn't have moved from here, so that we could heal up there as well, but oh well. Not a big deal, and oh! Quest battles don't give us momentum. Oh, that's unfortunate. If that had given us momentum, we would have been able to replenish and then jump up to Hellspire and taken it out immediately. But I guess once we take out Hellspire, we can momentum up towards Castle Drakenfels. Unfortunately, we will still be damaged, but what can you do? I mean, if we're in a raiding, we can at least replenish. Though on the other hand, if we wanted to, we could just replenish our various Ungors this way as well. Certainly another option. Alright, this gives Taurox his magical attacks. He loses his Filth Mace, so we'll have to put that on somebody else. And we'll gain more weapon strength and more melee attack, as well as his ability to give him more melee strength and damage, because clearly he needs it. Anyway, we'll figure out what else we have to do next time, because we are very, very much out of time, as that battle took quite a while. Plenty more Beastmen action to have, and more stuff to destroy, and more various factions to take on, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially for the hour. If you're into that, all glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.